Welcome back to Crime Besties to another episode. Meg, how are you today?
We're just saying we're here, we're surviving. I feel like every day is another struggle.
Thriving? No, not at the moment.
Surviving.
Yeah,
and that's all we
Surviving
need to
with flair.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably it.
You know, that actually reminds me, when I was in high school, I did a cooking class. So one of my electives I feel like it was probably year 9 or something. And it was called, the elective was called Cooking with Flair.
Oh,
but we made
flares
things,
as in like setting them off?
but we made things like it was so basic bitch cooking.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't even, there was nothing with flair. I think the craziest thing we made was like a gingerbread house at Christmas time.
Oh.
Which was cool. That was
fancy.
cool. That was really fancy. We did like the stained glass windows with the
Do you
boiled
do that
lollies
shit
in
with
there.
your kids, don't you? You make
Yeah.
that stuff. You're into that.
Yeah.
Oh, that sort of stuff with kids just is like my nightmare.
Yeah.
I can't. And I'm the kid person,
You're
I guess.
a kid person. You're a kinder teacher.
But cooking with them?
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
With my own kids, I mean, they have this like, I always have this like grand idea of like, that cooking with kids is going to be this idyllic, amazing experience. Yeah. Licking the spoon and smiling and laughter,
Like a Hallmark card.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
But it's just not. It's a
Oh,
nightmare.
no. And you end up with flour from one end of, I don't even know how it gets
I
spread
know.
so far.
The child.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got one kid who won't eat what we cook, but he loves cooking.
Yeah,
It's
that's
weird.
exactly my tip. Yeah, Mason really is not interested whatsoever. Brody loves getting into the cooking and stuff. Would he eat it? No. To the point of like even just baking goods. Like I made some brownies this week for lunch boxes and stuff on the weekend. Did the whole, I'm going to bake, packet.
You're not an idiot.
Not an idiot. But because he was begging for brownies and I was like, oh God, I can't even bother with this because I hate this shit. But yeah, I thought, okay, fine, we'll do a packet mix.
Yeah.
And I thought, I should really do this more often, and bake and that. But they just don't fucking eat it.
Yeah. I make banana bread every week for
Yeah.
Lucas because that's one thing I know he will always eat.
Yeah.
And he loves helping me make that. But then it just takes double the amount of time. And I'm like, we're already very time poor.
Gotcha.
Whereas Ollie will demand what he wants for the week for his baked treats, but he's not all that interested in cooking, really. He'll cook savoury stuff with Peter, but he's not interested in baking.
He's a more of an immediate cook. I need my ramen.
Yes.
I'll cook it.
Yeah. Last night we got home from, where were we? Oh, some sport probably. I can't even remember where we were.
Oh, this is it.
And we
brain
got
break.
we got home and he was like, I think I'm going to have like a supplementary ramen after sports training because he'd already had his dinner. And anyway, I was like, oh, I'll make it for you. You go and have your shower, I'll make it. Well, I didn't make it right, did I? Because I didn't get the proportion of soup to noodles correct. And he's like, look, Mum, I will eat it this time, but next time, just so you know, I actually need more soup because I really like the way that the noodles then slurp through the soup.
Well, there's an answer to that, mate. You cook it yourself
Oh,
from
but
now
then,
on.
then I would have had to have like cleaned up after his mess of him making it.
You told me about the red food.
Oh, yes. Okay. So this week, I got home from BFT in the morning. So I get home at 7. And normally producer Pete then goes off to work as I come through the door.
Yeah.
And on this particular morning, Oliver was like, I think I might make a smoothie for breakfast. I'm like, yep, you go for it. I know he can operate the smoothie machine. No worries. So I've gone to have my shower. I come out and there is pink food dye everywhere. And I was like literally it was on the
white
corner.
bench tops
Yeah,
to
white
boot.
stone bench tops.
Yeah.
Corner of the bench top, pink food dye, on drips of pink food dye on the floor over to where the smoothie maker base is. And I'm like, mate, what has gone on here?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, well, I was making a blueberry and raspberry smoothie. I'm like, yes. And he's like, but when I blended it, it was too purple, too blue.
Well, yeah, red
I'm
and
like,
blue make purple.
Yeah. And he's like, I wanted it to look pinker. So he's got out the fluoro pink gel food colouring. Added that in.
That'll learn you to have your food colouring everywhere. Like have it in the pantry.
Yeah. Wazzed that up.
Yeah.
And dyed my kitchen in the press. I'm like, mate, that doesn't change the flavour. He's like, no, but
It's gotta be pink.
You eat with your eyes too, Mum.
Oh God, I love him. He's going to have to be a chef or something.
Something, yeah. Or a critic.
A critic. Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
no, that's more his game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't imagine him in a kit. Oh, could I? No, he'll burn himself too much.
Or
or chop a finger off or something.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh my God.
That's
yeah.
That
so
is
that was
definitely-
that. Same child this morning. Again, I was up 5:40. I leave for BFT in the morning, and normally the house is still
Deathly
asleep,
silent.
deathly silent. I'm about to creep out the door this morning, and I hear this noise, and so I go back to check because I thought maybe the dog wanted out or something. I go back to check. Oliver is fully dressed and ready to go at 5:40 a.m. because they've got inter-school sports today, first one ever, and he was so excited. Oh my God, it was just gorgeous. Now, it's cold. We live in Melbourne. It's cold today. He came out and he was actually wearing like the footy singlet and then just a puffer vest over the top, so his arms were still fully exposed. And I'm like, oh, mate, I think you're going to need to probably put a jumper on today because you're going to be outside all day.
Stay warm before you play.
Yeah,
and stuff.
yeah.
Because what's the go? Do they just play this afternoon, or is it an all day thing?
All day. They play 4
that's
games
different to
today.
back in the day?
And yes, 4 games today and 4 games next Friday. And then there's another
they
2
knock
later in the term.
That'll be the issue of the buses.
Yeah,
You're right.
yeah.
They're so bloody expensive.
It's so expensive.
ridiculously,
So expensive.
Yeah. Because it used to be like every Wednesday afternoon was sport. Like they used to go. You used to go between schools and things, but it's obviously a new thing they've done is condense it down to certain days.
Yeah. So I think I'm pretty sure it's 4 days a term they go.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
Which
that's so cool.
it's so cool. He was so excited. It's just gorgeous. It's just super, super excited. Yesterday morning before leaving for school, he actually wrote out a regime for last night. So it actually didn't include the Slurpee ramen, surprisingly enough.
Wow.
But it was about Theragun, foam roller and the spiky ball, 30 minutes on each just to really get himself going, and a magnesium salt bath last night. So if he's not well and truly prepared for today, I don't know who is.
Certainly no cramps. Really well limbered up.
That's right. That's it.
Oh, he is an absolute gem. I love this. I love how serious they take it.
Oh, it's so serious.
Cool. That is amazing.
Yeah.
Oh God, that kid.
Yeah. I just remember when the boys were really young, I feel like Lucas was a baby at the time. I went to this, it was called like Raising Good Boys or something like that.
Yeah.
And it was Michael Cargreg, the psychologist.
Yes.
And I remember him saying at the time, he's like, you've got to find what your child is passionate about and push them to that. Like, don't let them stop it. Keep that passion, keep that fire going.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can see now why, because they just love it so much. It really gets them involved.
If you were that parent who was like, no, mate, you're not making any smoothies. Like, or no, I'm cooking the ramen, or, don't eat ramen. Or, I mean, he would drive you nuts.
Yeah.
And absolutely find other things he shouldn't be getting involved in.
Yeah, that's it.
So, you can see exactly why that is, because, you got to let them have their thing, and it might not be something that you're okay with sometimes. But, it's so important.
Yeah.
I love it. And it is who he is. It's letting him be who he truly is at his core and his essence. Like, so gorgeous.
Yeah, funny. Anyway, I finally got all of the pink food dye out. It took buttloads of Jif and and a lot of elbow grease.
God.
Anyway.
Yeah. Well,
you said you could. I still feel like I can see a tinge of pink on the bench, but you said you couldn't see it.
As someone who doesn't know it was there, sort of stuff, I couldn't see it. But
I feel like it's like scarred into my brain. Anyway.
Yeah, you'll always see it.
Yeah.
I know, it's like my son, he did these drawings on my desk, at my like office desk kind of thing at home, and I'd said to him a million times prior to him doing this, put something underneath your drawing because you're using permanent markers, and I bought them these special mats to do that with and everything. Well, did he do it? No. Drew, and he said to me, I did put stuff under, I put other pieces of paper. I'm like, no, you need the mat. Because, it went right through the paper. And so it's Spider-Man, of course, picture on my desk at home that I swear to God, one day I'm going to have to sand that desk back and re-oil it and everything, because I can still see it. Like, it's there. No, someone else probably wouldn't be able to see it, but
you can see the dots, but you know exactly what that outline makes.
Yeah.
He was really good at drawing Spider-Man back in the day, though, so I'm
sure
it's
can't
good.
Draw that anymore.
Really?
They're all over my office at work. Like, he literally, because he came to where I worked for a while, and so in my office, he did all these sticky note pictures of Spider-Man while I'd be still finishing up for the day or whatever, and they're all over my office. I can't, like, even though I've moved my office around since, I haven't been able to move them.
No.
And so they're all still there. But I've asked him to redraw and draw Spider-Man again since, and he cannot do it. how he used to do
That's so funny because he was like really good at it.
Yeah.
Really, really good at it.
Yeah, nothing like it anymore.
Oh, that's funny.
It's really
It's
interesting.
just out of practice.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's mine switched to something else.
Now we can draw Steph Curry. So
Okay.
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Anyway, I've got a few shout outs.
so
What
sorry.
was that?
It's just my phone with my notes on it. Sorry.
Oh, okay. We'll allow it because, we do need to, we need you to have your notes.
I do. Well, I have pieces of paper. I have everything everywhere. I won't look at any of it while I'm doing it. But anyway.
No, it's a comfort thing knowing that it's here.
I could find it if I needed to find it.
Yeah.
I've highlighted pages. I have. Do I use it? Probably not.
No, but that's okay.
We'll see.
It's there.
Depends on
It's
how the
in your
brain goes as we move along.
Yeah, we'll see. Few shout outs for today.
Oh,
We've got Naomi Eloise Emma, who sent us a really nice message and letting us know she listens to our podcast once she's dropped the kids off, done her full day's morning's worth of work before she actually goes to paid work.
Yeah, we were just saying that's like so true. You really legit do. You work a full day just to get your kids out the door.
Oh.
And then, it's absolute pure exhaustion walking into your work day.
But I feel like you do kind of switch hats and you do kind of then
you have to
start
reset.
the next thing.
Yeah. As women, we can do that.
Yes, we're good at that.
Yes, but
we're always running from one thing to another. I think we were saying that just before as well. The day never stops.
No, you literally, as we said, you do a full day's work just to get out of the house and get everyone sorted, get to work and do a full day's work, and then you leave work to go and do another full day's of work of doing the run around of after school pickups and drop offs and doing sport runs and dinner, etc.
Cleaning up, packing for the next day.
Oh god, that forethought thinking of like, what is tomorrow and what do I need for that? Yeah. It's exhausting.
It is.
So hats off to all of us doing it.
Yep, absolutely.
We will struggle through, and if we can help in any way in that travel of having someone to chat to, we're here.
Yeah, and we get it.
Yeah, totally.
And then the last shout out for today is to Anaram53, who messaged us on Spotify, I think. So listening to us through there. So thank you for your comments and keep them coming. And I think Anaram actually sent us a message on a really old episode, but recently. So maybe they're catching up and listening to old episodes. So thanks for that support. We can certainly see the numbers of our past episodes going up and up and up.
Yeah, they're constant going up at the moment. It's really crazy.
It's
like
great.
people coming through from other episodes. So whether they're finding us from a new one and then going back or what have you, I'm not sure, but I don't know how any of that works. But people are finding it so great.
And we like seeing those numbers going up and up. It really makes us feel good.
Oh, absolutely. It's crazy. Yeah.
All right. What are we talking about today?
Oh, today we have a classic Australian story, and I almost want to say iconic.
Oh, totally iconic. I've actually written that in my notes somewhere. I'm like, the thing that I find iconic now, I think if I say this, it'll give away. I mean, people know from the title anyway what they're listening to. But for me, when I think about, so we're obviously doing Schapelle Corby. When I think about her, the first image that comes to my mind is when she was found guilty in her trial.
Oh, yes, that image of her
That is iconic.
Yep, absolutely.
That is like
it is iconic.
a touchstone of the 2000s, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it was even Schapelle Corby that said it. If you were roughly 15 or above, you know who I am. Like, that is so true in Australia. She's so well known for, and that's the image I think we all have of her.
Absolutely,
unfortunately, it's really sad.
We had a decade of her story and the trials and tribulations that went along with it in the media almost constantly. Like in researching this, there are thousands upon thousands of news articles. There is so much content out there because people are writing
stupidly,
articles all
I
the
do
time.
this sometimes at the beginning of my week. I will just print a heap of shit, right?
Okay.
And then over the week I'll read and whatever have you.
Okay.
And one of the ones I did print early on in the week and then didn't go to for quite some time was just the Wikipedia page of Schapelle Corby.
Okay.
Right. And I picked it up to have a look at it and went, why the hell is there so many pages? Wow, there's a lot of information on her. No. It was all the bibliography.
Yes.
Of literally the news part, which I then went clicking on news articles because I find them far more interesting than really what's on Wikipedia, to be honest.
Yeah.
But like it was a great reference then for finding news articles because holy cow. I'm not kidding. As a minimum 20 pages of just lists of news articles that were being referenced within the Wikipedia page, let alone then what else is out there.
Yeah.
So insane amounts of news stories.
And imagine the pressure that would add to you as a person under going through this. I mean, again, Chappelle says this. the trial by media for her was in a lot of ways far more detrimental to her mental health and her state of being during, I mean, obviously the conditions that she was imprisoned in were fucking horrible. But, you know, it was that constantly seeing media articles about herself, and she was interviewed on Australian TV after she came back and everything, and in one of those interviews she actually says that it was seeing the words in the media like Schapelle Corby, convicted drug smuggler. She said that was the thing that really got to her. Yeah. It's interesting. Do you have a very firm opinion on what you think happened, or are we going to see as we go along?
I'm trying to stay neutral in this.
Okay.
But I do.
Okay.
Because, over the years I have spoken to people who are in, I can't name necessarily, but in very high positions in federal police, etc., who have firm opinions on this. And I can't not hear what they've had to say.
Sure.
And that there is obviously some truth to rumours that were around.
Yeah, look, I fully agree with that.
Yeah.
I think... But certainly before I started researching this, I felt very strongly one way, whereas in researching this, I actually feel like my opinion probably hasn't necessarily changed, but I think there is so much reasonable doubt in this that I don't think she should have been convicted.
No, and I think this is where we'll get into
trial. Yeah, had she sought trial in Australia, there's no way she would have gone to prison.
Exactly. I think that the punishment fit the crime?
Yeah,
all those sorts of things come into play. The simple fact of the matter is, unfortunately, at the end of the day, it happened in Indonesia.
Yeah.
We can get to it, I guess, as we talk about it.
Let's get to it as we talk about it.
It's a very interesting dynamic to it of whether or not innocent or guilty, I think, is a different question to the punishment.
Agreed.
Yeah.
All right. So Schapelle Lee Corby was born on a day that only legends are born, the 10th of July, 1977.
Well, not that year.
Not that year for me, but that is my birth date. So Schapelle and I are birthday twins.
Oh, wow.
We've got so many connections.
Yes. Explains a lot, actually.
I meant to say before we even got started, everyone needs to stay tuned to the end of this episode because we actually have an amazing little bonus for you that we will have ready to go at the end of the episode. Yeah. So please stay tuned, if for nothing else, it's for that. Okay, so Schapelle was born in Queensland, grew up on the Gold Coast in Australia. Her mum, now, we were talking about the pronunciation of her mum's name. You say Rosalie. Yeah. It's spelled Rosleigh, so I'm like Rosalie, but anyway, whatever.
Every news story I heard her saying it's Rosalie. Yeah, Rosalie.
All right, let's go with that. Rose, and her dad was Michael Corby. Now, Ms. Rose has 6 children, 3 to Michael. So they had Michael Corby, 3. Mercedes is the eldest, Mercedes Corby. We all know her from all of the news coverage as well. We'll get into her a little bit later.
Can we call her Mercedes? I just can't come with the Merc thing, but that's all right.
Oh, Merc. Oh, no, I'm going with Mercedes.
Mercedes? Cool.
Oh, yeah. Well, what do you think?
Oh, it's Mercedes. I can't.
Yeah, thanks.
I can't do Merc.
Oh, no. Michael Jr. and then Schapelle's the youngest of that relationship, and then Schapelle's mum had 3 other kids to 2 different dads, I think.
Yeah, you might be
right. I believe so. I think 2 to another man and then one.
Okay.
I believe. So I guess Schapelle was very young when her mum and dad divorced. I think she was not even 2.
No, like she was 1, I think. Yeah, only a baby.
And the dad left the home, and was he a miner or something? I think he worked remotely somewhere.
He did. So he worked on an open cut mine.
That's right.
South Queensland, I believe, or out,
So he was a bit of a FIFO type worker. Yeah. And he would come back. I think he was as involved in the kids' lives as he could be, given that the nature of his work and the fact that I guess they were split up. But I think
kids would go out and visit these areas. They would obviously they saw him as much as they could.
Yeah, and he would try and get back to see them as much as he could too.
Yeah.
I think the separation was fairly amicable because when he came back to the Gold Coast, he would actually still stay in the family home, and spend Christmases and stuff with them. So, it seems like it was, fairly in terms of divorced families and divorced couples.
Yeah.
It was actually fairly amicable.
Yeah. Which meant, obviously the kids then had, a good relationship with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Growing up, I think Schapelle was a typical Aussie teenager. She says that when she was 14, she did try drugs, but it made her hallucinate and she didn't like it very much. By drugs, I'm assuming she meant marijuana. She didn't specify in her...
That's her say.
Yeah. And she also didn't like the fact that when she did, she would always end up in a takeaway shop and she didn't want to get fat.
Oh, really? I didn't hear that one. That's hilarious.
At the age of 17, she first travelled overseas to Bali. So this was her first ever overseas trip.
Yeah.
She went with Mercedes and Michael and stayed for about 6 months. So I'm like, why were you not at school? Like, where did school fit in here? This was in early 1995. She came home from that 6-month stint in Bali and almost immediately went to travel to Japan. So Mercedes was living in Japan at the time. I think she was teaching or something.
Okay.
And so Schapelle decided to go over, and I think she only spent maybe a couple of months, maybe 3 months or so in Japan, but she loved living there, absolutely loved her time there.
Yeah.
That she then came back to the Gold Coast just in time for her 18th birthday. Fair call. Need to party it up with your mates.
Yeah.
And while she was back home, she met a man at Coles,
Yes.
our local, like one of our national supermarkets, by the name of Kimi Tanaka.
That's a pseudonym that he goes by. He doesn't want to be named in any of this, but he has done interviews and things.
Yeah, where you can see his face.
Yeah.
But I couldn't find his actual name anywhere. I did try because I was like, what? This seems, I don't know, a bit sus. Why are you putting your face out there but not your name?
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
Like, I probably wouldn't want to be embroiled in this any more than I had to be.
He was out of the picture by then, so...
Well and truly.
Yeah.
So they meet at Coles and she invites him to her 18th birthday party. And I think she liked the fact... So he was here on a working visa from Japan, and he lived in Toyoma, which is where Schapelle had just spent some time, wasn't it?
Yeah, the area that she'd been around. And so he was a professional... No, sorry, that's her... No, I'm sorry, again, Mercedes husband. No, don't. No,
okay,
just ignore me.
Stop. So he went to the 18th and they ended up becoming a couple very, very quickly.
Yeah.
They then moved to Omizaki, which is in just south of Tokyo, and he was working on a tea farm. She was working and a surf shop, I think, and she was working in a ryokan, as a sort of like a hostess type thing, like a hospitality worker, basically.
Yeah.
In 1997, they got engaged, and 2 weeks after they got engaged, he takes her to the Omizaki town hall, gives her papers to sign, and she thought they were opening up a bank account together.
Yes.
As they leave, they get in the car, and he's like, "Oh, by the way, we just got married."
Like, what?
What the fuck?
Yeah. She said, so from this point on, the relationship really changed. And whether that was literally her really uncomfortableness around just that alone that triggered it or what, which I wouldn't blame.
In her book, she actually said that this was an absolute turning point, not only for the way she saw him, but also for the way he treated her.
This is it. There was a real change in everything. And whether that was, that's what he wanted all along, was that once they're married, this is how things are going to be. Like, once we're married, it's a flick of a switch. Or whether, and she sort of, I think, has really said this, of her attitude to him changed. So whether that was what made his attitude towards her change. Yeah. Who knows what, chicken and egg kind of situation.
Little from column A, little from column B.
I think so, to be honest. Yeah. So she apparently, it became quite abusive. Relationship wasn't a good marriage at all. So she didn't. Well, she stuck it out though. Still, I mean, it wasn't until 2000 until she they separated. So I mean, good on her for giving it a red hot crack, but obviously it was not a good relationship.
Yeah, so. She claims that the relationship was financially abusive and emotionally abusive. So yeah, she needed to obviously get out. As you said, in July 2000, she left him and returned to Australia via Bali. So she met her mum
Mercedes
in Bali because Mercedes by this stage was living there with her
husband. And I think they had a few kids, or at least some of them.
I think they had one at that stage.
Yeah. Yeah.
So tell us what you were going to say about Wayan.
So Wayan, he was a surfer, and so he was doing sort of the Asian circuit of pro surfing. So apparently his English was incredible. They met in Bali, but and fell in love. Sounds like it was like quite a very positive relationship. They seemed to be really, really strong, but they then ended up settling down in Bali when his surfing career was like coming towards a bit of an end. So he was, I think, he was one of the Rip Curl Surf Pro participants and everything. So yeah, he was very heavily into his surfing. But they settled in Bali with an idea though that they would eventually move to Australia with their children once they became sort of school age. So that was their plan. Wasn't to live in Bali forever, but that's where they were basing themselves because of where he was going for surfing events and things mainly.
Yeah.
So that's where he came into the picture. They had a fair bit of property. They owned a reasonable sized property in Bali. I mean, because you can probably buy something there a bit cheaper than we could here in Australia, I dare say.
They owned a really nice place.
In Kuta, wasn't it?
Yeah, in Kuta. Yeah. Really, you can see photos of it online and really nice.
They call it a compound.
It was a family compound. So I believe multiple of his family members lived there, but it was massive.
Yeah.
And they all had their own like little houses within the compound.
Within that compound, yeah.
It was it's an interesting lifestyle, I guess, compared to, our Western culture. It's very different. But then the weather lends itself to that sort of indoor-outdoor living and, Bali is
very humid, isn't it?
It's like very humid temperatures. It's such a beautiful place and the people are gorgeous. It really is like they say it's Australia's playground and it really is. So many Australians visit there every year and it's a gorgeous place to go. I love Bali. I've been I don't know if it's 3 or 4 times, but I just love it.
Somewhere I've never travelled to.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I know it's a majority of people you speak to in Australia, it's, been to Bali
it's
at least
far.
once.
Like we live in the southern states of Australia and it's still only a 6-hour flight for us.
I mean, you live in Western sort of Australia, Perth, etc. I mean, it's only a 3-hour flight for them. They are big travellers to Bali, even if we call ourselves big travellers on this side. But apparently,
I think it's only an hour from Darwin.
Yeah.
It's really not far.
Yeah.
So it's more like a domestic flight.
Exactly.
So it is somewhere that Australians frequent and have done for decades and decades and decades, although it has changed a lot over the years.
Yeah.
Like now there's a lot of, big chain hotels and like very luxurious, villas and that kind of thing. And you can get out of Bali what you want to get out of it because you can sort of see whatever you want there. I visited last year with some friends of ours and, you go down and you get a massage for like $7 for an hour.
Oh, my God.
So twice a day, obviously, not an idiot. So it's that kind of thing, it's cheap sort of holiday once you're there. Really great food, really great people, beautiful weather.
Yeah.
I can understand the appeal of living there, although I can also understand not wanting to educate your children in a third world country, maybe.
This is the thing. I mean, and that's the thing with Bali, and I struggle with that with certain places where we do venture to for these cheap, luxurious holidays, because there's always that side of things where it's luxury and all these sorts of things and we're splashing money around. Well, the little bit of money we have to spend on holidays or what have you. But then over the other side of that is, can be some very poor living conditions.
Oh, absolutely.
For the workers, which I really find hard.
Yeah.
I don't cope well with that. So I think that's why I don't choose often to travel like places like that. I don't know.
Yeah, but then I totally
But then
get
if we
what you're
don't have
saying.
the tourist dollars,
exactly, they don't have anything
at
like
all.
During
And,
COVID, they were in absolute dire
really
straits.
was.
People were starving, because there was no money,
no one
tourists.
coming in.
Like tourism is their main industry, and without tourism, there's no money.
No, it's
so
really
it's a really hard
That's
one.
it. I find I really just find that I struggle with it.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously, because the other thing that has really impacted Bali, which is around this time that we're looking at, is the Bali bombings, which is obviously potentially another story we can do another day. But because that's a huge one. But because that impacted obviously tourism in terms of like, do we want to travel there when these sorts of things have happened? So
I feel like this case impacted that too.
Absolutely, it gave people a scare in terms of, and this is a thing. Again, we can talk about it more, but travel itself, into other countries, your own country's laws and things like that. But you always have to know that if when you're traveling, that you need to abide by other countries' rules.
Yep.
I will never forget the day when I first traveled internationally on my own and landed in Hong Kong. And we got out of we were just doing really transferring. We're only sort of staying there for a day, but walked out of off the plane through the airport, and the security through the airport were carrying these massive guns. And I had a bit of a flip out, because it was really intimidating of like, oh my God, like, not in Kansas anymore, that kind of moment of like, that like, oh wow, the world is, different elsewhere.
Yeah.
And it's not wrong.
Bit of a culture shock.
This is the thing. And the thing is, it's not wrong. It's just different.
Yeah.
You have to accept those things when you're traveling. So
yeah. That's all part of it, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. So where are we? We're at Chappelle leaving.
She's left her marriage. Gone via Bali,
Yep.
and she's come back to her home in the Gold Coast.
Yep. She enrolled in beauty school around this time.
Yep.
She didn't quite finish, so I think she completed 2 out of the 4 units to become a beautician.
Yeah.
She dropped out because her father Mick was diagnosed with cancer, and she became his carer.
Yeah, and so she started working at the fish and chip shop with her mum that she owned. Again, so Australian.
So Australian.
And also working at Coles. Again, I think she went back to working at Coles as well at that
Well,
time.
I think she needed a bit more flexibility in what she was doing so that she could be available for her dad when he needed it during the day more so than anything. So she was working fish and chip shop after, during the dinner rush, I think, and then Coles on the weekends and when there was someone else to look after her dad.
Yeah.
It sounded like he actually became quite debilitated very, very quickly, which is interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. Varying counts on that. Yeah.
Well, to completely derail what you're studying and to take on a carer who's a child is a very significant decision, and you would think there'd be a significant health outcome being the reason for that. But anyway, we will 100% still get to that.
Yes.
All right. This now brings us to the 8th of October in 2004. Chappelle's aged 27. She decides to go to Bali for 2 reasons. First reason being Mercedes' 30th birthday.
Yep.
And the second reason was because she'd been caring for her dad and she needed a break and decided this would be a nice way to go
I also
about
think that at this time it was kind of, this is where he started to decline. As in, I think prior to this, she was like, it was all a bit of a family shock that he was sick, and they didn't really know what was going to happen for him and what it was looking
like. The prognosis or whatever.
Yeah, I think he'd been told it could be a month, could be a week, could be a month, could be years. Don't know. We're going to, so I think it was appointments. It was all those sorts of things more so that she was caring for prior to this point, whereas it was basically the thought process of like they'd sort of had a bit more results on things and that things were going to maybe decline after this, that go take a break while you can because things might get tougher.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So Qantas Flight 501, Brisbane to Sydney, then they were going to go from Sydney to Denpasar.
Yeah.
There were 4 people travelling in her party. So it was Schapelle. There was Katrina Richards, who was aged 17. She was a preschool teacher and she also worked part-time at the family's fish and chip shop. Ellie McComb, who was 25 years of age. She was a friend and former flatmate of Chappelle's. They'd been friends for about 4 years or so. And then Chappelle's half-brother James, who was only 16 years old and a year 11 student at the time. So the night before, they had all stayed at Roz's house, and because she was driving them to the airport, they had a very, very early flight to catch.
They tried to get a flight that was direct to Bali, apparently.
Yes.
But for whatever reason, couldn't get a flight.
I don't think there were many direct flights at that time from Brisbane because they were flying Australian Airlines.
Yes.
And I think Australian Airlines, their hub
internationally, you go through
Sydney.
Yeah, Sydney. Yeah.
So the night before, they've had a sleepover at Roz's house because they ended up being dropped at the airport, a bit after 5 a.m. What the account is from Chappelle and the other 3 members of the travelling party was that night they were sort of all packing their bags, getting everything ready, and Chappelle had packed her boogie board bag and zipped it up, and everything was kind of ready to go. The next morning, they were putting together their last, you shove in your toothbrush and whatever else you've used that morning. And Ellie says that she forgot that she'd borrowed Chappelle's flippers. Now, I don't know why you'd need flippers in Melbourne. In Brisbane. Like, what, had she been swimming the day before?
Oh, you use flippers a fair bit. Okay. If you're into that sort of stuff,
Yeah, okay.
I would say, yeah.
Anyway, she'd borrowed Chappelle's flippers.
That I don't have an issue with, the whole flipper thing. That it's the fact of taking the fucking thing to Bali to begin with.
Yeah, well, that's weird.
Actually gets me,
isn't it?
To me, that's...
Although I actually did look this up a bit because that got me too. Like, why the fuck would you take a boogie board to Bali when you can either hire one or buy one there for probably $5?
Yeah.
But if you're a super into your boogie boarding or bodyboarding...
But you're super into...
And she wasn't.
Well, I don't think that to that degree. I mean, sorry. Okay. My family were super into bodyboarding.
Okay.
Right? I can categorically, oh my God, categorically tell you there is no way that either of my brothers would have gone to Bali and taken their very expensive and well-used bodyboards.
Yeah.
That's right. Because there is a difference when I'm talking about a bodyboard and a boogie board.
Yes.
Because a boogie board is a piece of shit.
Is a foam. Yeah.
A bodyboard is a serious bit of... It's like a surfboard. It's equivalent to a surfboard.
Yeah.
And I understand. They would not have taken them.
But people do take... Like, I've seen people when we've gone to Bali... Not bodyboards, but surfboards, I have.
Absolutely. A surfboard is... It needs to be a right size. It needs to be the right weight.
As well? When I was they are.
Not to that extent.
Well, when you read the bodyboard things,
if you're a pro bodyboarder,
yeah,
yes. Anything below that, no.
Yeah,
like literally.
Anyway, I fully agree. Why the fuck were you taking your bodyboard for a 2-week holiday?
There was another reason.
Anyway, so Ellie then says she forgot that she'd borrowed Chappelle's flippers, puts them in the bag that morning. No, sorry, she gives them to Chappelle when they're at the boot of the car in the garage at Roz's house, and Chappelle opens the bag in front of them,
throws them in,
shuts the
zips it up
all the way to the edge.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's important. Anyway, Roz then drops them at the airport, and
there's a photo of them at the airport that Rosalie takes, like, you know, supposedly the last photo of them all together, and
the last photo where you see Chappelle happy.
Yeah, oh, that's what that's right. That's what the quote
she says.
was. Yeah. Yeah.
Last time we've seen Chappelle happy.
Yeah.
At 5:33 a.m., CCTV shows the group checking their bags in so they flew a Qantas flight from Brisbane to Sydney, and then it was an Australian Airlines flight from Sydney to Denpasar.
Yeah.
They checked 4 bags, 3 suitcases, and this boogie board bag.
Now, the boogie board bag had to go over to the desk no one ever wants to go to, either over the oversized.
But before they did that, they weighed all 4 bags together at the checking counter.
Yeah.
So they weighed the 3 suitcases and the boogie board bag, and they totaled a weight of 65 kilos.
Yeah.
Then Chappelle had to schlep over to the special
the oversized
baggage area.
Yeah.
Yeah, as
you
said,
avoid that like the
wants.
plague.
Oh, fuck me. I've had to do that with like pushers and
prams
stuff
and
before.
shit. Yeah,
Blech.
it's the worst.
It is the worst. And check it in there. That was all fine. They go through customs, go immigration, and they... Oh, no, sorry. This was a domestic flight. They fly from Brisbane to Sydney. Everything's all hunky-dory.
And connecting flight off from Sydney.
Their bags were checked through from Brisbane all the way through to Denpasar. So it's not like they had to go to Sydney, collect their bags and recheck them. It was checked all the way through.
Yeah.
What we know is that when they arrived at Denpasar, roughly 12 hours later, 2:30 p.m. local time they arrived, there is obviously the thing that we all know.
Well, first of all, she collects the bags off of the baggage carousel and everything, including the boogie board.
Yep.
And she notices that one of the straps is ripped. Not uncommon on baggage things. I mean, God, how many times have you picked
rough
things?
are they with stuff?
When you watch those videos,
Yes.
it's like crazy.
They're like throwing shit. And you're like, anyone.
It's got fragile written all over it. Yeah.
Fragile schmagile.
Oh, God. So she collects it, notices that. And so with that, she's then... Now, this is where I get a little bit confused. Wait, this is from her book. Like, this is her story of this, is that she then is trying to manage her boogie board and her luggage. But there were 3 bags and 4 people.
Or 4 bags and 4 people.
3 bags, 4 people, and the boogie board, right? So therefore, that's one bag per person,
bag per
right?
person, yeah.
So for whatever reason, someone says she's trying to drag along this boogie board that's got this broken strap on it or whatever.
Yeah.
That one of her friends says,
Ellie.
James,
Yeah.
help Chappelle, and so then he's like, oh, okay, and grabs her boogie board bag from her so that she's only carrying her luggage bag.
Yeah.
Well, who's overloading with bags when there's only...
I don't know. I mean, this is what travelling with a 16-year-old boy is probably like.
What, so he had nothing?
I don't know. Probably had his own backpack.
In her book, it makes out as if he's also got more things, but anyway.
No, I don't. I mean, I don't know. But yeah. I mean, 16-year-old boys, who do they think about but themselves?
True that. But
so what we know is the passage of these bags, right? Yes. So that's very keenly known, but there are certain gaps in information, right?
Yes.
So in Sydney, the bag arrived into Bay 5 and was sent over to Pier C. So Bay 5 is a domestic bay that the luggage comes into.
Yep.
Pier C is an international bay that obviously bags are sent out from.
Yep.
So what happened is the bags come through. We know they all got scanned. So all 4 bags were scanned at Sydney Airport.
Yes.
And there were 3 suitcases and this special item, which actually came out last and therefore went into a luggage storage thing with a canvas flap on the ground in Sydney. All right. So because the bodyboard bag had been too big to go on the conveyor belt, it was manually taken from the plane that had come from Brisbane, manually taken to the Pier C.
Yep.
Right? Ready to board the plane to Denpasar.
Yep.
We know that at 8:18 a.m, the bag was put into a specific baggage canister.
Yep.
And that just by chance happened to have two of the 3 suitcases in this same canister. Okay? Just by chance.
So also then, sorry, what you're saying is that no one else flying to Bali had a bodyboard bag.
Correct.
So just standing by the fact, why the fuck did she take a bodyboard bag? Wouldn't there be lots of people carrying them and lots of people on those flights with them if that was something that people did?
I guess.
Yeah.
Well, no, it was the only one. Yeah. It was scanned. So the bodyboard bag was the 70th and last, or second to last, I think, item scanned into that particular canister. Now, this canister had a canvas flap. It was not locked in any way. It was then left on the tarmac for 97 minutes before it was then loaded on to the Australian Airlines flight from Sydney to Denpasar.
And they can track all this, but no CCTV footage has actually been viewed of that?
No.
No.
The reason being that CCTV was wiped within 72 hours, so it was just on a loop.
Yeah.
And they only kept the recordings for 72 hours.
Yeah.
I believe the Qantas baggage handlers kept it for longer, but it was still too late before they there's even conjecture around that.
Yeah.
So that just gives you a bit of an idea. Oh, the other thing I just wanted to note actually at this point, if you're a baggage handler or if you've got clearance to be on a tarmac at any Australian airport, international or domestic, you are not screened going into or out of work. You don't have to go through any metal detectors. You don't have to put your bag through X-ray.
Is that still to this day?
That. No, I believe that's changed.
Yeah, that's changed now, but back then that's what it was.
There was nothing. You could just, if you had the right pass, you could just come and go as you please.
You'd been cleared previously, therefore that was enough in their eyes. Yep. That's what they, time, you learn things, what have you, and things have been changed.
Procedures have changed
but
now.
At that point in time, it was a belief of these people are trusted, therefore they can do,
Now, James, 16 years of age, he's decided that he's actually going through a bit of a bodybuilding phase.
Oh, yes.
We all go through bodybuilding phases in our life. And he brought with him to Denpasar 30 cans of tuna.
16-year-old.
I'm all for diversity in a diet, and I get that he wants to bulk, but there's chicken in. There's chicken in Bali.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can get tuna in Bali.
I'm pretty sure you probably buy tuna, but yeah.
But he's decided to take 30 cans, so he's had to go.
Declare
he's had to declare it.
Which, I mean, it's perfectly. He's able to bring it in. There's no issue with it, but you just have to declare it.
Yeah. So they've gone, but the thing is, when the bags come off the plane, this is standard operating procedure. Any international airport that you go to, I believe even domestic in most countries as well these days, your bags actually go through X-ray.
Yeah.
At Denpasar Airport, they don't take photos though. The machines that they've got are literally just X-ray machines
One
that your
person
bag
eyeballing
passes
it
through.
and then it's done.
That's right. Whereas in Australia, we've got the technology that if there's something suspicious, it actually takes a photo so that they've got full record of what's happened.
Yeah.
They didn't have that technology in Bali at the time. Whether they do now or not, I actually don't know. I would assume so.
I would say
Now
they
it's
would have
20 years
increased
later.
their security measures, surely. Yeah.
You would think so.
Yeah. Because,
Anyway.
I mean, in this, we are talking, this is after Bali bombing, this is after September 11. You know, we have already moved towards a more secure, somewhat, obviously, secure system in terms of domestic flights. So,
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what the X-ray has shown is that there was some kind of plant matter in this boogie board bag, bodyboard bag, sorry. And so the customs officers have kind of called them over to have their bags checked. Oh my God, that is such a fucking... You just feel like a criminal.
Oh, immediately.
And
Can
I'm
you
like, I don't have anything.
What
Do
have I
I?
done?
Oh
What have I
God,
done?
what have I packed?
Oh, you would...
You know?
Yeah.
That's... My dad, my dad often gets checked. I think it's just like the way he looks.
Bit of a bikie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And anyway, so if you're traveling with Dad, I always try and stay a few people behind because I'm like, I don't want to get caught up in this. But yeah, so they've had their they've obviously been flagged to be checked. Now this is where the story separates.
Yeah.
There's the customs officer's account and there's Schapelle and her group, her travelling group's account of what happened next. All right. Next page. So the customs officer says, because James, as you said, as you were explaining before, James has the bag and he's pulling it along for Schapelle.
They're sort of looking at him to be, spoken to about this. Yeah.
And
Which,
like,
I mean, to Chappelle's credit, she very much spoke up and said, no, that's mine.
Yeah.
You need to speak to me about that, basically, not James.
And have you seen her interview with Liz Hayes, the 60 Minutes interview where she tells about this story and she goes, oh, hi, it's mine. I'm just so excited to be here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, but if you were being questioned by customs, regardless of whether you knew there was something in your bag or not, you're not that excited. Like that to me was like,
red flag.
Yeah. So what Chappelle's side of the story is that she willingly opened the bag straight away and saw that there was this 4.1 kilogram bag. So we're talking the size of a pillowcase.
Yeah.
Bag in a translucent space bag,
it's in
branded bag.
2-layered, vacuum sealed plastic.
Although one
bag.
of the vacuum seals had broken.
Had it? I think there's varying. I think they say that they did that.
Oh, okay.
To check what it was.
Well, wouldn't it be pretty friggin' obvious? Well, they say to Schapelle, what is that?
Well, you have to
says,
test it, I guess, to make sure. You can't just go, that's marijuana, but it's actually grass clippings.
Yeah,
true.
So this is Chappelle's account. They say to her, what's that? She says, it's marijuana. And they say, how do you know that? And she says, because I can smell it.
Yeah, yeah.
Which you would. Like, even through a double-bagged whatever, you could 100% smell it.
Oh, there's a definite smell.
Yeah. It's unmistakable. Okay, so the customs officer, though, says that he asked her... So Schapelle says she willingly opened it without even being asked.
Yeah, well, I think she said something along the lines of, can you open it? So she opened, a top pocket on it. There's, separate pockets. Yeah.
That's what he says.
But then he said, no, the bigger one.
Yep.
And then she's gone to do that. And then gone, and she says as she's opened that bigger one, she's seen this in there and just sort of done the whole, that's not mine, and backed off.
He says, so the customs officer says that as he asked her to open the main part of the bag, she says, no, I have some. And with that, he's opened the bag and seen the marijuana.
Yeah, that's what and 4 other officers agree with his side of that.
Now, it's probably worth noting at the minute as well. At this time, James is not there.
No.
James and Schapelle have actually been separated.
The other two people that were on the flight with them, they were allowed to go through. And that's a very interesting thing too, I find, that they didn't then go, hey, let's check all of your travelling party's luggage.
Like, they didn't check any of the suitcases.
None of the suitcases got checked. They were like, basically, we found it all. Like, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, there is something in that I kind of go.
Standard operating procedure to be like, let's check every single thing this party's
brought with you. Like, there could be more in other bags.
What if there's pills in the bag or something else in the bag?
But the others were just like, no, you guys can go. We just want this.
Now, so Katrina's account of that is, she was shitting herself. Like, she was so worried. They knew Mercedes was waiting at the airport for them to pick them up. And so they were like, well, we're going to have to go and figure out what's going on here. With that, they do take, so Ellie and Katrina, because they've detained James and Schapelle, Ellie and Katrina are then let through the airport and they find Mercedes. Katrina says she stayed with those 3 bags and did not let them out of her sight because she was like, what if something's going on here that I don't know about? Yeah. So she's, beside herself. They all were. They've finally allowed Mercedes to come in and be like, I don't know, see Schapelle and James. And Mercedes' account of this is that she then says to them, weigh all of the bags. Yeah. Why aren't you weighing all of the bags to see if it matches what they were weighed at?
Yeah, the 65 kilos at Sydney Airport or at Brisbane Airport, I mean.
And they said, it's too late. They've gone out of the airport.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
Yes.
That throws up, to me, that alone throws up some reasonable doubt. Why wouldn't you weigh all of those bags? Because 4.1 kilos is a significant difference.
Well, this is the other thing. That's the thing. Wouldn't you pick that up and know? I mean, if you're such a big boogie boarder that you have to take your boogie board with you, you know what that boogie board weighs.
Yeah. So I've written here, surely you'd notice the difference in weight.
4 kilos extra, so you would know.
Like professional, because I'm assuming this is a professional bodyboard.
I think so.
Even if not, the average professional bodyboard can weigh between 15 and 35 kilos, and it's based on your body weight to what. And she was a slight person, so I'm guessing she's going to be at the lower end of that.
Hers would have barely been 15 kilos.
So you would notice another 4 kilos on that.
Absolutely.
Okay. What the fuck? Why aren't you picking that up and going, oh, weird, that feels really heavy?
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah. I'm sorry, you would have known that difference in that weight enough to kind of go, oh, that's weird, and open it up already.
She also says immediately to the customs officers, oh, someone must have placed that in there.
Yeah.
Which, again, I'm like, I guess I try and put myself in her shoes in a way because I'm like, if this happened to me, I would think the same thing. Like, someone's put it there. I haven't put it there.
Maybe she knew someone was going to put it there, though.
Yeah, like, did she?
So I really can't consolidate in my brain.
Same.
That you didn't know that weight was different.
Yeah.
The other thing is that typically, even back then, it was meant to be that bags were weighed individually, not the whole party's bags were weighed. So unfortunately, that would have been another avenue of just weighing that item, especially with it being a separate item in that it's a bulky item that's going through a different, hole in the wall kind of thing, both off to the planes, that should have been weighed and then weighed again. They could have simply just then weighed it on the other end to go, okay, well, she checked a bag that was X number of kilos and now it's 4.2 kilos heavier on our end. That says something's happened in between too. So that could have been very easily resolved there as well.
For sure. The other thing worth noting, and you see this when you're researching or looking at this case, is that around this time, and in fact on the day that they left Sydney Airport, there were baggage handlers that were arrested by the federal police for drug trafficking. However, cocaine and heroin.
Yes.
However, it was mostly international importation.
Yes.
There was some domestic transport included in this, but the main issue was actually importing heroin and cocaine.
There was a large shipment Sydney on that exact day that they went through Sydney Airport.
Yeah.
So
just another thing. Like it's another thing that just muddies the waters.
It does. And as you alluded to at the beginning, like that, there's all this reasonable doubt being then to me in those points of, interest.
For sure.
Yeah.
I just want to get into Oh, actually, we'll get into that in a minute. The federal police did release a statement. This was around the time of Chappelle's trial, so months and months later, where they say there was recognised criminal activity on the day for drug dealers using unsuspecting travellers who are often none the wiser. So this was part of this investigation that the Australian Federal Police were doing at the time, and they were actually using innocent travellers as mules, unbeknownst to them, because they'd check their bag, they'd put in the drugs into a bag, take a photo of the bag, send that photo to the dodgy baggage handler
on the
other end, and they'd take the drugs out before the bags even went out. So you wouldn't even know that your bag had been used for that purpose.
Yeah.
And that was just part of this investigation that the Australian Federal Police were executing on and around this time.
It was a well-known thing that was going, well, not well-known, it was well-known by the Australian Federal Police, not
correct.
Well-known
publicly.
publicly.
No, it wasn't publicly known.
It was not public knowledge prior to that. But the Federal Police had said that, yes, this was something they were aware of and they were working on at the time of this occurring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to my mind, there were 4 major issues in the way this was handled. And I'm talking issues for both parties.
Yeah.
I'm not just saying this is an issue for Schapelle or not just saying this is an issue for the Bali Customs and Bali judiciary. First thing, customs officers handled the bag without gloves.
Yes.
And so Mercedes asked for the bag to be fingerprinted. She was then told too many people have touched it. What we know, though...
What Schapelle also says is that, so when that was opened up and she was in that room in the customs area and it was like, everyone was kind of around it was a buzz. Oh, they've found someone, they've got someone. All these people were coming in and taking
samples
parts of it.
Yep. Samples for testing.
But they never tested.
No, never tested it.
Yeah, we can get to that too, but more in the court trial. But
just interesting.
Yeah. So there was lots of hands on that bag, and Schapelle absolutely corroborates that yes, there were lots of hands going on that bag. But if they'd been tested, were her fingerprints on it at all? And that they never actually were able to find out.
No, we don't know to this day whether her fingerprints were on that bag or the inner bag.
Yes.
So Chappelle's lawyer, Lily Sriraya Lubis, and her assistant Vasu Rasaya pushed the director of Bali Narcotics Bureau, his name's Bambang Sugiarto, to test because they were like, this will prove or disprove whether she's touched it. We just want to, we don't care how many other fingerprints are there. We just want to know if her fingerprints are there.
Yeah.
They refused.
Well, there's also rumour that the Australian government also offered to do similar testing of not only the fingerprinting, but also of the actual marijuana, because there is a DNA link that you can have of marijuana. So you can basically, by testing the marijuana, they could have found out a number of things: how it was grown, whether it was hydroponically grown or not.
They do know it was hydroponically
They're
grown.
very, very well. Yeah, from photographs, people have looked at that and decided that it's hydroponically grown. However,
high quality, apparently.
So they could determine that inconclusively, like basically by doing the DNA testing of it. But they could also, from the DNA testing of it, be able to say, oh, that was grown locally in Bali, or whether it was grown, in southern Queensland, or also have found exactly where it was grown and who by, because of maybe being able to link it up as closely as that. Now, so the Australian federal government did apparently offer to do all that. There is rumour that Schapelle herself refused that.
I did read that.
Now, the reasoning behind her refusal apparently was because that the testing that they would do, the Australian federal government absolutely said, we will do it, but please understand, whatever the results are, they'll be shared with not only you, but also the Indonesians. So it would be basically be able to brought to court by either prosecution or defence what the outcome was. So you have to be, she had to be entirely 100% sure that you want us to do it, because it could absolutely prove your innocence. But you never know what comes back might help them.
It might have, but the thing is, even if it was found to be grown in southern Queensland, it doesn't actually mean, it sure points to something more, but it's not a proven thing.
No, but they could have maybe, because there was someone who was arrested.
Yeah.
That they could have linked it literally
to that. Yeah,
to actual samples that they had already.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. My second issue, the bags were never reweighed. We've talked about this at Denpasar. all of the bags were checked under Chappelle's name. Not that that really makes a difference. She was just the main, she did all of the bookings and all of that. So that doesn't really have anything to do with it. Third issue, CCTV at Denpasar was not recorded or not handed over to her defence.
Apparently it was available, and the judge in the trial actually stated, we'll use it if we need to.
Okay, so but her defence never saw it.
No, it was never shown.
So they don't know. So the CCTV should be able to show how the opening of the bag happened at the customs area, and it would have corroborated either Chappelle's story or the
his.
customs officer's story.
Yes,
but it was
withheld and never shown to anyone.
And why?
Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah,
again, see, it's like this tit to tat. Like you hear one thing and you're like, oh yeah, and then you hear another thing, and you're like, oh no, you know.
Well, because I think it's really important to note here of just in terms of Indonesia and their laws. Drug trafficking and anything to do with drugs, anything drug related, is considered the absolute worst offence. Like they're apparently in their jails, something like 78% of people who are in jail are there on drug charges.
Yep.
They have absolutely no tolerance whatsoever for drugs in their legal system. So the thing is with this, that when it comes to drugs, their laws are basically possession equals guilty.
Yep.
Not only that, we in Australia here always have, regardless of that, is innocent until proven guilty. When it comes to drugs in Indonesia and their legal system, you are guilty until proven innocent. Mm-hmm. So therefore, so typically here in Australia, if this was here, it would be a court case where she just basically doesn't have to prove anything. It's up to the prosecution to prove that was hers and that she put it in there, and that it would have to be proven, all those aspects. Whereas in Indonesia, it was on her to prove that it wasn't hers and she didn't put it there. So that is a completely different story.
But that's also impossible when you're not given access to the things that might prove your innocence.
Really, really, you're pushing shit up a hill. Let's be honest.
Absolutely, they were.
Yeah.
And then the fourth thing is that the X-ray machine didn't take photos. So there was no image to show if the marijuana was there when it went through the X-ray machine in Bali.
Yeah.
So again, they're not quite sure what's going on.
No.
James is released, and because Schapelle assumes full responsibility for that bag, and as you said, possession is 100% the law there. So the fact that that the bag was in her possession, then James is innocent according to their laws.
Yeah.
She's taken to Hotel K, or the Kerobokan prison, and she's in this tiny room with 85 women.
Oh, so that Kerobokan is just awful.
You can look at photos. Just
Absolutely.
Google it.
The place was built for 300 inmates, men and women. In 2017, there were 1,700 inmates being held there. Like, it's not just over capacity.
Oh, it's so crowded.
Absolutely crowded.
You can't even, they sleep on the floor.
Yeah.
And they're all in this, packed like sardines into this one tiny room. There's one toilet that's open to the room. There's no privacy whatsoever.
Yeah.
Schapelle talks about having her period when she was there. There's no access to any hygiene products.
Or medical attention.
Or no medical attention.
No.
They ended up having to appeal because she suffered a great deal of mental illness throughout. I'm getting a little bit ahead, but anyway, so let's go through her trial, do you think?
Yeah, I was just going to say, in terms of Kerobokan, just interesting little facts. Because it's such a horrendous place. You know, people want to escape, right? So there was actually a number of escape attempts, or regular escape attempts, but a couple to note. So in June 2017, 4 prisoners, including an Australian, did manage to escape. They dug a hole under a wall that was 50 centimetres wide, 50 centimetres by 75 centimetres, right? And went for 15 metres. And they escaped.
Claustrophobia.
So yeah, Sean Davidson, an Australian bloke, managed to escape.
A bloke? That is a tiny little hole.
I know. I'm
to be crawling through. How would you move your body through that? I don't even know.
I don't want to. The claustrophobic would just be horrendous.
Yeah.
But somewhat of my favourite here was on the 10th of December in 2017, so later that same year, 2 prisoners, Krishan Beasley, who was 32, and a 57-year-old named Paul Anthony Hoffman,
Oh,
Both US citizens, they allegedly they tried to escape. Unfortunately, Anthony was actually immediately captured afterwards. So they apparently they thought that they had put a ladder up and just climbed over the wall, which is what the Indonesian people wanted you to believe. Okay. What they actually did, though, was they had carved a hole with a hacksaw in the roof and climbed through that to escape.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. But there was a massive manhunt for the other bloke, but he was eventually arrested the following year. So, yeah.
Oh, I didn't quite get there. But I guess like if you escape, you're on an island. Where are you going to go?
So, but what was he in jail for? You think that would make him go, I'm going to escape jail? What do you think that he might have been in for? Drug charges, but not just drug charges. He had a possession of all of 5 grams of hashish on him.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that is the law there.
Yep.
Like that is the
hardcore
law. You need
and then
to know
the conditions of what you get put in for what you've done are horrific to the degree of wanting to escape that badly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's as you said at the start, you've got to know the laws of the country you're traveling to and you're making a choice then.
Yeah, especially if you're going to do something illegal.
Yeah.
But even if you're not, you need to be aware of what you need to be aware of and protect yourself.
That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, but Hotel K, no thanks, mate. No, thank you.
God, no.
Thank you. All right, so we're now at the trial, which was roughly 3 months later. It started on the 28th of January in 2005. Right. So, as you said.
Just in terms of her legal team.
Yep.
So, obviously, we had Lily, who have mixed accounts of whether how great she was.
Well, I don't know that she was that great. I've heard she didn't really like Chappelle.
No, well, the thing was, and we have to say this too, that so when this all occurred, the Balinese people hated Chappelle.
Yeah, they called her the
Ganja Queen.
The Ganja Queen.
Yeah. They were protesting outside of her, of the courts and things like that, that she was an awful person for what she had done for bringing in this marijuana into their country. So I wonder whether there was, I mean, she was a local, that whether she too hated Chappelle and didn't really want to help her. But yeah, so that was interesting. But there was her sidekick Vasu as well, who he literally had like business cards for every business under the sun, an engineer, a real estate agent.
He's like, hold on, what am I today? What can I do for today?
It's like my business card shall I hand
Bali.
you?
I love it. It's so good.
I think that's hilarious. But the other person that came on board too for her with her legal team was Ron Bakir. Now he's a millionaire from Australia who decided to fund her legal aid. He also kicked in about $100,000 for it was $1 million reward for any information helping them out. So in terms of her court case, and he kicked in $100,000 for that. They never raised any other money that went towards that, which is interesting. But he did pay for probably around about $200,000 worth of legal representation for her. But what he also did was register trademarks for
ChapelleCorby.com.
ChapelleCorby.com.au and also Schapelle Corby Inc. So he had grand plans for movie deals, book deals, all those sorts of things that I think he was hoping to profit off of afterwards. There was also rumours that Chappelle were having an affair, but he's just a bit of a,
and that she got pregnant to him.
Oh well, there's that one too. Yeah, there was so many unusual rumors, but he also accused the prosecution of asking them to bribe them.
Yeah,
which him coming out with saying that, whether it's true or not, it could have. I think it
it absolutely had an effect.
Had some effect on outcomes and things, because to say that publicly and accuse people of asking for bribes isn't really something you should say.
He said it about the judge too.
Yeah, that's right.
He said that the judge said that if he gave him money, he would reduce her sentence.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that's what he says.
That's
happened.
he says
accused
happened.
that of,
yes.
Yeah. So her legal team was very interesting.
Yeah.
But there was one other guy, wasn't there, too? I can't think of his name. Someone who was a little bit better.
I'm not sure. But the other thing that Chappelle did around this time is she wrote a letter to our then Prime Minister John Howard asking for some help and support. And he basically he wrote her back and basically said, I wish you all the best and I really hope that the right judgment comes for you. But you need to understand that if we had an international prisoner in our system accused of such things, we wouldn't be very happy if that country wanted to interfere with our judiciary. And so I wish you all the best. Thoughts and prayers to you.
Yeah. Which, I mean, it sounds awful, but I'm not a massive fan of John Howard, but you have to agree with what he said in that we can't get involved in another country's legal system.
Yeah, but then I think that too, but then I feel like if I'm in Chappelle's shoes and I am actually, and I am innocent, I would want the support of my country.
But that's where I have to understand that he had information.
Yeah.
That the public probably didn't too.
Yeah.
Which, yeah.
Because you could probably push AFP agents or potentially, I'm sure, given the good relationship between Indonesia and Australia.
Well, it wasn't great at this point.
Oh, that's true, actually.
Yeah.
That is true. Sorry.
Yeah, the relationship between the two countries wasn't great. We're coming off of the Bali bombings.
Yeah.
It was
the
coming
Bali
off
9.
of the Bali 9 happened
just after this.
Literally during her trial.
Yeah, okay.
So
even that could have actually been happening at the time.
Yeah.
So that definitely made a difference.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my God. All right, so the defense for Schapelle. So as you said, she's guilty until proven innocent. So it's up to her defense to come up with reasons that she didn't do this. So they had several points that they put across. Mm-hmm. The first one is, why didn't she lock the bag? If she had have put the marijuana in herself, why didn't she lock it?
Yeah.
And keep it
safe. I think it's a fair call.
All of the other 3 suitcases were locked with padlocks because back in the day there weren't that many of the ones that we have now that are built in.
Yep.
People had padlocks.
Yep.
There was no padlock on the Boogie board case.
Yep.
The fact that the marijuana was in a clear plastic bag, if you were trying to conceal it, why wouldn't you wrap it in darker colour, maybe try and hide it under something or in something or put clothes around it? Why would she risk the death sentence knowing she'd travelled to Bali, I think 5 or 6 times before this, knowing she knew, and her sister lived there. They knew the laws. They knew how harsh they were. She had no criminal record, nor did Mercedes or Wayan. Schapelle didn't have a criminal record in Australia or in Indonesia. The Queensland Police and Federal Police had no intelligence on her, stating that she'd been involved in any drug activity.
Directly,
yep. The price of the marijuana. So this is the one that really kind of gets me. In Brisbane at the time, marijuana of this quality, because it was very high quality marijuana apparently, was going for $4,000 per half kilo. So it's about $32,000 street value.
Yep.
In Sydney, it would have been double that.
Yep.
So about $60,000-ish thousand.
Yep.
In Bali, it would have been about 40% of the $32,000.
Yeah.
So it would have been worth about 15
so it's worth
grand.
less taking it over there.
So why would you take that over?
When it was supposed to come out in Sydney. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's where it was meant to stop.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the legal team, what they had to do was put across another possibility of what had occurred.
Yep.
So what they decided to put forward was this fact of that baggage handlers were domestically transporting marijuana from like Brisbane Airport to Sydney Airport, and that's where that should have come out in Sydney. And unfortunately, for whatever reason, with the baggage handlers, it didn't come out in Sydney that day. What they're claiming is that Schapelle had no idea, as we've mentioned earlier, that the AFP had already identified that unknowingly people were being used as mules to bring to transport drugs
a myriad
regularly.
Of different drugs.
And so what they were claiming was that, yes, this marijuana had been placed by a baggage handler, not known to Schapelle Corby whatsoever, placed that into her bag when she'd checked it in at Brisbane, that had taken the flight down to Sydney, and a baggage handler in Sydney then should have taken that out of that bag in Sydney. However, for whatever reason, it didn't come out, so it continued on to Bali. And so when they've opened up the bag in Bali, this marijuana is there, which should never have been there because it should have come out in Sydney. So, and there was then support of that from the AFP that there was, claims of these sorts of things happening.
Yep.
So there were some claims also by some that was a completely fabricated story, you know, that they were putting together, that there was no links to it anywhere, but there were certainly people coming forward saying, no, there is. The other bit of evidence they brought to the court was a man by the name of John Patrick Ford.
Yeah.
So John Patrick Ford was a prisoner in Port Phillip Prison here in Melbourne who had overheard conversations in jail between two men, according to him, who had discussed the fact that they knew about the drugs being put into Corby's bag. He reckoned that the drugs were actually owned by a man of the name of Ron Vegenser. I think that's how you say it. And that he owned it, but John Patrick Ford would never name the person who was actually meant to take the drugs out in Sydney. But from what he kept that information to himself. Apparently he knew it, but he wasn't willing to give it up. But he reckoned there'd been a mix-up for whatever reason, and that, yes, it had been left in her bag and therefore the marijuana had ended up in Bali. He was already in jail on some charges that were being ready to be heard. So his testimony, I guess...
He was actually already convicted.
He was convicted, but
he
also
was awaiting sentencing.
Yeah, waiting sentencing.
So the Indonesians basically discredited anything he had to say because he was a convicted drug smuggler.
He was,
convicted for some kind of drug charge himself.
Yes.
So it actually meant nothing. They flew him to Denpasar, to Bali for this, for the trial, and it went nowhere.
Nowhere. No.
It didn't really help.
And this is the thing where so the stuff that I feel they presented in court was enough to show reasonable doubt. I do honestly believe that.
Without a shadow of a doubt, in my mind. If I was a juror, if I were a juror, there is no way I would convict. No chance whatsoever based on everything we know at the moment.
Yes. However, in Bali, unfortunately, at the time, and the judge that was presiding over this, in their mind, she was guilty from the get-go, and that they didn't prove enough that she was innocent. Which is really, really hard. I think that is, it's really tricky what went on in that respect. Their legal system is different to ours.
Yep.
At the end of the day.
Yep. So 28th of April 2005, Schapelle gives a final plea in her case, and she actually addresses the judges directly in that. And at the end of that, she says, "I am innocent" in Indonesian.
Yeah.
The verdict came out about a month later on the 27th of May in 2005. I remember this so clearly.
Yes.
It was broadcast live on Australian TV and in New Zealand as well, I believe.
Yeah.
And she was obviously found guilty of importing narcotics into Indonesia. They sentenced her to 20 years in jail and a $13,875 fine, or an additional 6 months in jail if she couldn't pay the fine. So... my God, I just remember thinking at the time, I remember at the time thinking, oh my God, imagine being her.
Oh, absolutely sickening.
Yeah.
To hear that, that read out. She was not in a good place mentally by this stage at all. To then have that confirmed for her. I mean, we have to also say she could have gotten the death penalty. That was absolutely on the table originally. They had spoken and worked out between the lawyers, etc., that ended up being taken off the table. But life in prison equates to 20 years in Indonesia. So she did get life. She got the maximum. So it was pretty hard to take, especially when you look at, as well, if this exact same situation had occurred in Australia, the kinds of sentencing she would have received would have been more likely around about 6-7 years maximum, probably parole after like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
With that quantity, it could have been less. It would have been significantly different outcomes. Guilty, I'm saying, in comparison to a guilty either side, let alone the fact of there being reasonable doubt being presented within the courts. Absolutely. If it was here in Australia. So,
and as you said, the burden of proof as well, because the burden of proof is reversed here.
Right.
So they would have had to have proven that she was guilty.
Yeah, they would have to have proven that there was her fingerprints on it, etc.
That's right. Which
to be
none
able
of that
to say
was
it was
ever
definitely
done.
hers. Yeah. Yeah.
So I think there was a lot of uproar at the time.
Yes.
Talkback radio blew up.
Oh, man.
There were protests at all of the Indonesian embassies, and then, you know, at the prison as well. People were showing up, like especially foreign nationals who were living in Bali at the time. Expats and whatnot were at the prison just protesting. It obviously didn't do anything, but people felt very, very strongly.
To be honest, I think it actually pushed the Indonesian government the other way in terms of
being
harsher with it.
Yeah,
the more people, the more Australians were saying you're wrong, the more they were going to double down. I almost think it did worse things for her.
Yeah. She suffered a great deal of mental ill health while she was in prison. Completely bloody understandably.
Yeah.
She spent some time in hospitals, which they had to absolutely, like her family had to fight to get her into hospitals and to get her treatment because she was suicidal.
Yeah.
And she was so her dad died while she was in prison.
Yes.
And Mercedes said this was sort of a bit of a catalyst. She went into this catatonic state.
2008 that he passed away.
She went into this catatonic state. Mercedes had to go in and feed her every day, bathe her, brush her hair. She couldn't do anything really for herself. She wasn't even talking. So they really, you know, you can imagine how much that affected her day to day. She did a couple of stints in hospital and it was just... you know, it was horrible. Do you remember the photos of when she was in hospital for one of the stints? And I think she was kind of starting to do a bit better. And then the photos, you'll remember them for sure, of her in the hair salon.
Yes. So and then grainy supposed photos that came out of her being in a nightclub.
In a nightclub, not true.
And this is it.
The hair was true.
The hair was
but
true.
She was at the hospital salon. They thought, you know, at the end of her treatment, give her a little perk. And then the fallout from that basically sent her back to square one, and she was sort of back trying to...
Similar to what happened during the trial, which we spoke about. They were accused that she collapsed on one of the days in court, literally. When you think about the conditions she was living under, let alone the fact the stress of what she was going through, plus the conditions that she was then living in, she was very, very unwell. So she collapsed in court one day, and the media jumped on it and immediately went, "Oh, she's pregnant. She's pregnant," which is just
fuck off.
Like that sensationalism journalism is so, and I think it's pretty dead these days. I find in general,
but there was a lot of that around.
But this time it was really bad around her. Because then there were these photos that came out. They were very grainy photos of supposedly her and Mercedes hanging out at nightclubs, and that people were saying they spotted her and stuff in Bali. They were going over and spotting her there. But there was also guards who were letting people pay money to go into the jail to see her.
Like she was an animal. Like an animal at a zoo. It was horrible.
I remember friends at the time who were going to Bali going, "Oh, we might go visit Chappelle." And I'd be like, "Are you for real? Like, that's just gross."
I remember back in the day, Kate Langbrook was on Nova. Do you remember she went over there?
She went
and took her like sanitary products, like literally, you know, bags and bags of sanitary products. Same.
Bringing something that is actually
and she didn't
needed.
Film it. She didn't do it for radio. Nothing like that. But
she did do it for radio because she spoke about it. Whereas you could have just done that under the, you know, and done that without any of that.
But then there were people who were doing it to get photos to sell to Women's Day or to sell to the tabloids or whatever.
Yeah.
Because everyone was so fascinated by this story.
It was so gross, the media around that.
Yeah.
I really can't handle that.
No, it's horrible.
I felt for her in that sense because it is. She's like an animal in a zoo. It really is just disgusting.
It's just horrible.
Throughout this, though, obviously she appealed the sentencing and the outcome, which was denied. At one stage, though, one of her appeals did get through enough that she did get a 5-year reduction on her sentence. But being Indonesian legal system, they eventually actually overturned that and gave her back the full 20 years, which was horrific. But there was a slight reason as to why they did that. Do you know about this? So there were some photographs that came forward, and there's a belief that these photographs are what they came out at a time where this appeal had been won, that she lost 5 years off of her sentence, and then at the time this judge got wind of the fact of these photos that had come to surface, so he reneged on that 5 years and gave it back and went, "Nah, fuck it, you can have the full 20 years." Now, these photos that were found were of Schapelle Corby with a known convicted drug smuggler, an Australian bloke who had come over to Bali to see her. So supposedly he came and saw her twice, one being during the trial. Mm-hmm. He was there. Mm-hmm. He was also then in Korobakan visiting her and spent time with her during the trial time as well. And photos were taken of the two of them. These photos were found years later in his residence by police who were arresting him and charging him with drug smuggling of none other than marijuana. Mm-hmm. Very good friend of his dad's.
Mm-hmm. A known associate of his father's.
Yep. He lived in South Australia. Yep. So when you put it in context of that, I can somewhat understand. Originally when I heard what an arsehole act, like to give her, this little, carrot of like, we can 15 years now instead of 20. Like that's to me almost, because what breaks my heart with her with this 20 years stuff, it was I'll never have children, right? I'll never be able to have a life like that.
She says that.
Taking 15 years, taking 5 years off of that, or could potentially give her back a window of having that. And so I really thought that was awful. But when I kind of went, oh, wait, there's maybe something to this as to why that 5 years was put back on.
Yeah.
Again, the length of time was more than it should have been in the sense of what we know of Australia. But in their world, their judicial system, that's what was going on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He never visited her again after that, though.
No. Well, he was in jail. Yeah.
Is he still in jail to this day, actually? I don't know. Well, no, we're 20 years down the track. Probably not.
Possibly not. I'd have to look that up, but I've got some
that up either.
Info on him. So basically from there, though, she appealed in 2010. She ended up putting in a letter to the president of Indonesia for clemency. It took 2 years for him to respond, which you would just think
in the teeth.
Well, you sort of think, okay, well, that's not worked either. Like, and just be, I guess, sitting back on it, thinking, well, there we go. That's that avenue done as well. When randomly this letter appeared from the president. And what he actually said at that point, so at this point in 2012, when they received the letter, the response to the letter for clemency, because she claimed it on humanitarian grounds because her mental health was declining quite severely. Yep. So as we said, 2008 when her dad died, it really started to decline massively. And so we're looking now at 2012. She was not good.
She hadn't recovered.
She hadn't recovered. Certainly not 2010 when she sent the letter. I think Mercedes, really supported her in putting that letter together and sending that off to get some assistance. Mm-hmm. 2 years later, finally got a response from the president granting her a 5-year cut to her original 20-year sentence. Now, their system is so different over there that doesn't sound like much, but what happens over there is at various points of the year, you can get reductions in your sentence.
Yes.
So she had already received, well, in the first year, in 2006, she received a reduction of, 3 months. 3 months reduction. However, that got overturned because she was found to have a mobile phone.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that 3 months didn't come off her sentence then.
I knew it got taken away, but I didn't know why. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
due to having a mobile phone. Yep. So she lost that in terms of getting that reduction. But each year from that point, oh my God, then you'd be on your best behaviour, wouldn't you?
Oh, God, yeah.
So they have Independence Days in Indonesia, and on each of those she was granted, first of all, 2008, 4 months, in 2009, 5 months, 2010 and 2011, she received 6 months for each of those years. And then in addition to that, she was granted a further 45 days reduced from her sentence just because it was Christmas at one stage. So number of reasons why she got reductions in that sentence that meant that plus that extra 5 years was all helping to knock off those years from her sentence. Mm-hmm. So then in September of 2016, her sentence was meant to expire, but she was granted parole on the 7th of February in 2014.
That's right.
So unfortunately that was, I believe, a Friday though, which meant that
Yes.
she then had to spend the weekend in jail because they had to receive it by post.
Yeah.
The parole letter had to be at the prison by post.
Yeah.
They couldn't just walk it down from the courts or anything
which
like
is
that.
not far.
No, they had to arrive by mail before that they would process it, and so she had to wait all weekend before the mail would come on the Monday. So on the 10th of February, finally, she was released on parole.
The conditions of the parole were
Yeah.
pretty strict.
Yep.
She had to stay in Bali until 2017. She had to register, obviously, with the parole board and meet all of their criteria. She
Yep.
had to stay with family. Her whereabouts needed to be known at all times. So if she was going to be doing something different from her usual routine, she had to declare it.
Yep.
All of those things, I guess, are completely fair, and they're the types of conditions that are imposed on our parolees as well in Australia.
Parole-ish thing it wasn't just parole, actually. It was the entire time she was in jail. So she had to have a guarantor for her prison sentence.
Yep.
So as I mentioned about the escapees of Crobacan, if she escaped jail, her guarantor would have to take her place in jail.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So do you know who her guarantor was?
Was it Mercedes?
Nope.
Who?
Mercedes' husband.
Oh.
Yeah.
I know he paid, so in order to actually get parole, she had to pay that fine too, that $13,800 whatever dollar fine.
Yeah.
I know he paid that.
Yeah.
And in order for her to then be able to be released, I
Yep.
didn't realise he was her guarantor.
So he was her guarantor all the way through and including in the parole. So actually Mercedes and him were separated when she left jail.
Yeah. I mean, you can imagine the stress this would put on every member of the family.
Absolutely.
And
the
Mercedes
fact that they wanted to move to Australia and then that never happened, like it's upset their entire life of what their plans were.
absolutely.
Oh, it would be really impactful. Absolutely. I mean, and Mercedes would have spent most of her life taking care of what was going on for Schapelle.
She did.
Yeah.
She went every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he was guarantor for her throughout all of this, and had no way of changing that person. So even though the courts had said the fact of their marriage, together or not, does not break that guarantor. So he remained guarantor right through. So he sort of had to live under these similar conditions in that, not that he had the had to report or anything, but he couldn't just leave the country randomly or things like he needed to be kept track of as well to make sure that he could be there to step in for her at any point.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, whoa, what an amazing thing to do for your sister-in-law. That's a huge thing that he's put himself through. So really well done to him.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I kind of understand the decision for that because Mercedes, I guess she's supporting Chappelle. She's also got children of her own. I guess it makes sense to make him the guarantor as opposed to her, maybe.
And all other family were in Australia.
I was going to say, and then she could, if need be, could take the kids home to Australia or whatever.
I do wonder whether there was a stipulation that it needed to be someone who held an Indonesian passport, and maybe Mercedes didn't.
Okay,
too.
maybe.
I don't know. I'm not sure, but yeah, that's a huge thing to do. Yeah.
Yeah. So in 2017, her parole in Bali has ended and she returns home to Australia. So this was on the 27th of May in 2017.
Now, when she left Bali, right, apparently she asked the corrections division, would she be allowed to enter for sightseeing?
Yes,
sightseeing
Yep.
in the future.
Yep.
I'm sorry, would you want to go back?
Well, I've heard her interviewed fairly recently.
Yeah.
And she thinks she might go. She thinks she might be ready.
Oh, nah.
I would never go back again.
Oh, carry on luggage only.
I would never.
No, I'm sorry.
I would never.
I would just have no interest. No. I would not, honestly, honest to God, would have no interest in going back.
No.
It would be traumatic.
Yeah.
That getting on that flight,
but
even.
Then the other, she did talk about though the relationship she'd made with certain women in prison as well.
Well, she had a very long time boyfriend.
She had a boyfriend there, and I think to this day are they still together?
No, they broke up.
They broke up today. So her boyfriend.
I think they may have actually been broken up before she came back to Australia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought maybe that might have been a reason for her wanting to return.
Yeah, so
actually, no, because he visited Australia. No, I'm pretty sure they were still together when she came home.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Pretty sure they're broken up though from what I was
I think they have now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he was in prison when they met.
Yep.
And
Yeah, he
spoke fluent English, which was one of the greatest things that she, like, what sparked the relationship between them, because she actually had someone she could talk to easily.
Yeah.
But he was in jail because he had lit up like a cigarette, or not a cigarette, even like he'd smoked some marijuana on the beach and been arrested. So and he was doing a fairly long
hefty sentence
for that.
Yeah.
So they were obviously bonded over the fact of like the sort of sentencing they'd received for fairly minor, well, him also in that sense, minor crime. Yeah, but he seemed, they were pretty solid, like for a long time.
Years, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. All right. Well, should we talk about where she is now?
Well, before we do,
okay,
I just
go.
want to touch on some of the alternative kind of theories on what.
Good move.
Yeah. So obviously there's a couple of things where people sort of went, no, this doesn't make sense, of what's gone on. So when you look at it on the surface, is it that there was baggage handlers in Sydney and Brisbane who were running this drug run thing and she had no idea whatsoever what was going on? Or was there a little bit more known to it than that? So Schapelle Corby's father did have links to people.
And a long-standing drug history.
Yes. So he had a very close associate who he had known back when he was working in that open cut mine. First met him there. They lived in similar area when they were living, they lived near each other when they were working on this mine.
Okay.
And they were very close, apparently. And as they would work, they would, they finished that job at very similar times. One of the other bloke, he went and bought a big block of land down in central Queensland off of the Bruce Highway. And weirdly enough, 2 years later, Michael Corby purchases a block of land right next door. Now, the guy who lived opposite them in these blocks of land, he was on the other side of that block of land, actually. Sorry, he was next door neighbour on the other side.
Yeah, so I think Michael had the block in the middle.
No. It was that. No, there was there was Michael on one end, and then there was the associate, the friend, and then this neighbour.
Oh, okay.
So the neighbour has said they were tight as thieves. Is that the saying? Like thick as thieves? Like, oddly enough.
Besties.
So they
crime
knew each other
besties.
very, very well. Crime besties, maybe. So the guy that he lived next door to was arrested for growing hydroponically grown marijuana.
High quality
marijuana. In the raid that occurred on his property in September 2004, Schapelle Corby went to Bali in, was it October 2004?
8th of October.
A month later, she went to Bali.
Not even.
Yep.
Couple of weeks.
So in that raid, the police found 5 kilos of high-quality, hydroponically grown marijuana in vacuum-sealed plastic bags, same as what
So I think it's worth
in.
noting that it was Space Bag branded bags.
Right.
In both instances.
Yeah, they were both the same brand bags.
I mean, readily available. You can buy them at Big W. You can buy them anywhere. But I'm just saying, is that a coincidence?
Is that a coincidence that, less than a month later, a very similar sized package of marijuana, hydroponic marijuana that was by photographic evidence able to be shown to be hydroponic marijuana, was found in her boogie board bag. So interesting. Very, very, very interesting how that has played out. Now, other people have also come forward, specifically a person by the name of Jodie Powers.
Oh, Jodie Powers.
Now, Jodie Powers was a friend of Mercedes, I'd say, more so than Schapelle.
Yeah.
However, she went over to Bali and was supporting Schapelle at the time and everything when it was all going on. However, she does claim that there are very strong links in the family to all these sorts of things. So she's been interviewed on A Current Affair, Today Tonight.
Probably worth mentioning she was paid for her interviews. I'm just going to put that out there.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely very much worth saying. But firsthand, so she grew up with these girls, she knew the family. No question around that.
No.
And so basically she says that not only had Schapelle Corby outright said that on a number of occasions she had smuggled marijuana overseas and interstate, so had Mercedes. So very interesting what her take was on. And she also said, I know that Schapelle Corby did drugs. I've seen her take ecstasy, speed, cocaine. She accuses her of being a dabbler of many drugs of herself. Whether that makes you a drug smuggler or not, I don't believe
it doesn't,
that.
No.
I don't think that actually equates to anything else.
Yep.
Also, we're saying, so Jodie Powers has done 3 polygraphs, one of which read that she was lying, 2 came back that she was not. Take that as you will.
Well, it's inadmissible, isn't
Yeah,
it? So,
absolutely. Completely.
yeah.
But so Mercedes apparently, according to her, had admitted to smuggling drugs concealed within her body, as well as Schapelle admitting that she had smuggled to Bali marijuana in the past 2 other times, as was what she stated.
Yes.
She so she had a very clear story of what she'd been told. It was enough. There was
a lot of detail.
A lot of detail to it. But
some say too much detail.
Yeah.
Skeptics say too much detail, but yep.
Yep. So there's family links and there's rumours and there's all sorts of things that go on here that it makes me believe that, look, as we said at the beginning, guilty or innocent is one side of this, punishment is another.
Absolutely.
I think that part of me does go down the track of, I think that she may have known. I think the drugs were meant to come out in Sydney.
Yeah, agreed.
I honestly believe that she thought she was trafficking between Brisbane and Sydney.
Yep, and the financial reasons are that says everything to me. Why would you take what could have been $32,000 in Brisbane, what could have been over 60 grand in Sydney, and take it to Bali where it might be worth like 15, 16 grand, and you're risking your life.
20 years in jail. How stupid are you if that's the case? I really do think you're an idiot if that's really what your goal was.
Yeah.
I do think that there's also the person who had the photographs with Corby and was found with them in South Australia. Was a very known associate of her father's.
Yes.
I can name him too. I can't remember what his name was off the top of my head.
I feel like maybe we don't name him.
No, okay. Too late. So he was there was a drug run that is supposedly was occurring was between Brisbane and South Australia.
Yes.
Which is what many people believe. And there was lots of rumours around the fact that Corby had run that one on many occasions. And we've spoken about that exact drug run being done by other people on this podcast.
Yes.
So that's a known trafficked area for those drugs. And there's definitely some links there of possibility that the family was involved in those sorts of things.
Yeah.
Well, do we have proof of that? No.
Yeah.
But there is enough there. I think there's enough stuff that you kind of go, look, I think that there was a level of guilt here. Did she deserve even what she got in the end, 9 years in those conditions in that Bali prison? I don't believe so. And I do have a lot of empathy for her in that.
Agreed.
But you do reap what you sow.
True too. There's a book written by investigative journalist Eamon Duff. It's called Sins of the Father. And he is absolutely convinced that the drugs in Schapelle's bag belonged to Michael.
Yeah.
And so to her father, to Michael Corby. The book says that Michael regularly bought marijuana from South Australia, like from the South Australian drug syndicate, and transported them throughout Australia and internationally as well. So look, I don't know. I haven't read the book myself. I've just read excerpts that I was able to access online. But, he's pretty adamant in that side of things. So I think there's so much information out there. At the end of the day, there's probably only a handful of people in the world who actually know the truth.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it lies in there. I'm sure it lies in there somewhere.
Yeah.
And I don't think that everyone's all innocent or all guilty in this either. So, it's really interesting.
Another one that did come out as well, which I don't know whether this is linked or not to the fact of what Schapelle did, but her younger brother, I believe it was her younger brother. Yes, it was. It was James, not the other brother.
Not Michael.
Junior. I don't believe.
Yep.
He was not long after this.
This was definitely James.
Yeah. He broke into a known drug smuggler's house and he was actually put under 8 charges, I believe,
Yes.
and spent about 4 years in jail
Yeah.
for what he did there. He claimed at one stage that was to try and was targeting someone he believed who knew what happened to Schapelle, and trying to get evidence to help her out, which I don't know.
He stole drugs from their house.
Yeah.
That's not helping Chappelle.
So I don't know. I mean, part of me is probably like, I reckon maybe the family did know who was involved in all of this with them, and maybe he was targeting a particular person, but not to like get evidence to get her out of jail. It was to go, fuck you, you screwed my sister over because you didn't take the drugs out in Sydney like you were supposed to.
Yeah, dickheads. But I mean, look, if you're relying on someone in Sydney, things marrying up, and like how the
This
fuck?
is what I
and also the marijuana was in a clear plastic bag. If you were going to be taking drugs in and out of bags, package it a bit more discreetly, people.
This is it. But that's where there's a very strong link of that vacuum sealed bag.
Right.
I mean,
exactly.
There's only one idiot in the world that would do that, surely. Like, you know.
You would think so.
But, maybe not. Drug world, I'm not involved. I don't know. But, I mean, and because then I think in the end of all of this, we also come down to the fact of in many other parts of the world, I say unfortunately, not Australia so much, but definitely not Indonesia, that marijuana is legalised. And these sorts of things wouldn't be an issue in those countries. And so your opinion on her taking 4 kilos of marijuana, I mean, I don't dare say 4 kilos would have been personal use.
Much, yeah.
Well, each to your own. But, you know, people's opinions on marijuana fluctuates in terms of whether or not this is really that bad of a thing that she's done. I mean, my personal opinion, I don't begrudge anyone a bit of that every now and then, I guess. But
yeah, I mean, to each their own. But it is illegal.
It's
illegal in Australia,
and that's it.
And it's illegal in Indonesia. So
Absolutely.
at the end of the day, choices were made whether it was by Chappelle or not, whether she knew about it or not.
Yeah,
somebody has made a decision to transport an illegal material.
Yep.
And these were the consequences.
Yeah. Yep.
Ugh. Yep. Anyway. Where is Chappelle now? Oh, this is my favourite part. I'm so excited. Okay, God. So first of all, Chappelle is now a clockmaker. Well,
she's
influencer.
Not now, actually. She's had to stop making clocks.
Why?
I don't know. I couldn't find out why. This is the thing. In one place, I actually read that she had to stop making clocks. Oh. And not like, just decided not to make clocks anymore. Oh. But
I'd love to
Did you
know
check
reason.
them out?
Oh, God, of course I checked them out.
I would have ordered one if I could have got them.
Well, no, you wouldn't have because they're $199 each.
Wow. So I'm sorry, but I want one that says on the back of it, signed by her, doing time with Chappelle.
It's the best. Like, she's just milking this for all it's worth. I really liked, because you can go on to her Instagram page and there's lots of designs there. My favourite one was the one that on the front of it, so on the clock face, it says, fresh out of fucks. In a really
that is so Emma.
In a really beautiful. Well, I was actually thinking I might buy it for Michelle for her 40th.
Oh, yes.
How many fucks have you got left to give Michelle?
None.
Sorry. Do we have any left? No, sorry. There aren't any left to give. Beautiful epoxy resin.
Oh, I mean, look, they were beautiful. Like, I don't know if I'd put one in my house, but that's just my different style.
The beach ones. Like if you had a beach house, that'd be all right.
Yeah, but
and the fact that you had a clock made by Chappelle, I feel like that would be a real talking point in your house. All right, well, I'm sorry if you wanted one.
No.
It looked like on her Instagram page that there was some
maybe
that
she's
still
back
for
up
sale.
and running, but I read somewhere she had to stop.
Okay.
But I don't know.
She also did a bodyboard bag ad.
Good on her. Now, would that be profiting from crime, though?
Well, this is a fine line.
Fine lining
because
on that
she
one.
did also write a book during her time in prison.
So you know what happened with the funds from that? That all went to Mercedes' husband.
Yes.
As well, which I mean, I dare say maybe that was thanks for guarantor, thanks for doing all he did. Maybe
it sold over 100,000 copies.
In its first release.
Yeah, and she's re-released it with. After she, that few
when
other
she got
bits
back
and
to
pieces
Australia,
and, she'd already served out her parole and all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
but you're not allowed to benefit from
proceeds of crime, basically.
So I know the AFP definitely looked into whether or not she
was profiting from it.
But I mean, of course, she was profiting from it. If it went to Mercedes, as if Mercedes,
well, it didn't go to Mercedes. It went to Mercedes' husband when they were divorced.
Yeah, but was he not then giving them the money?
Quite possibly. Because there was something else that I read. Oh, who was it? There was something else that she was doing and she didn't get paid for it. Rosalie got paid for it.
Ah.
Yeah.
And
so
then
there's
gave
all
it to
avenues.
Chappelle.
So yeah.
You can't tell me she's not profiting from this. But then how else is she meant to live her life?
This is it.
She's so infamous. She couldn't just probably go and work at well, maybe nowadays she could. Nah, probably not. She's still so recognisable.
Well, to be honest, take on her beauty stuff. I mean, I'd go get my hair done by Chappelle just for the chat.
Oh, yeah. Tell me, girl. Give me the tea.
Give it to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You wouldn't mind sitting in her chair for a few extra hours
No,
and having that
I'd
chat.
have a conversation for sure.
Yeah. And then the final thing that she's doing.
Well, wait, before you go to that one.
Sorry.
Because the other one she did was she released a pop song.
Oh, yes.
So you've got to listen to that.
Yeah.
Well, we might insert here what that song was. Should we play it?
Play a little bit
Play it
now.
for the people
Yeah.
because it is absolutely some people loved it apparently,
But people loved it because of what it is, not because of the action. It's not like she wasn't going to win an aria.
Oh, well, not with this. No. So are you ready?
Oh, I am more than ready.
It is sunny. I have the palm trees behind me. Behind me.
Yes.
I'm in Queensland.
Oh, I love it. And it's sunny.
So she also did some like SAS, that show SAS as
yeah.
well.
And Dancing with the Stars.
Dance with the Stars, which
Yep.
I don't watch Dance with the Stars. Do you watch Dance with the Stars?
No.
Oh, because someone needs to tell me she has to have done a dance to like Blame It on the Boogie.
Oh,
It's not like a given.
that would actually be amazing. I have no idea. I didn't watch
hope
it.
she
And I
did.
actually didn't look up any, when I was researching, I didn't look up any clips either. I'm sure they're out there though.
Surely. Because another little like pop culture one I love is remember when Warner, the cricketer, lost his baggy green?
Yes.
On like a Qantas flight, somehow his backpack had been taken out of his bag and he lost his baggy green, which in Australia, that's like
Gold.
oh my God. So she commented on his Instagram post about this, saying, "If anyone finds my baggy green hat, please get it back to me." And Schapelle Corby commented, "Oh, Qantas, have I got a story for you?" I love that humour.
She definitely has a really good sense of humour on it all.
Doesn't she?
So the other thing that she's doing, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this. It's a website called Cameo, and
I've
you can
used
pay.
it.
You can pay celebrities of all different calibers, and it depends on the level of celebrity in terms of the financial contribution you need to make. But you can pay them to give a personalized message to a loved one for their birthday, or you can actually even get them to do like advertising for you and stuff like that. Anyway, 2 years ago, Peter's birthday, producer Pete's birthday, and his sister couldn't think of anything to get him because what do you get for the man who's got everything?
Well,
So she decided.
she thought of the one thing he
Oh,
needed.
absolutely. And have we not dined out on this for years now?
I love it.
She bought him a Schapelle Corby cameo, right?
Oh, and did she deliver?
Oh, did she deliver? So what you have to do when you order a cameo is you have to put in like some things about the person, what they like, just so that the celebrity can make
talking points.
There's some talking points. So Claire's put in things like, Peter, like their dad loves Claire more than Peter. And by the way, Claire said his name is Eudro, and that's what our nieces call Peter, Uncle Pedro, Eudro. So you'll hear that. Just all of the things that he's into and stuff like that. And then at the bottom she wrote, P.S. My brother thinks you're hot. So guys, I'm going to play it for you right now.
Producer Pete's going to love that you're publicising this too.
Any publicity is good publicity. Isn't that right, Pete?
Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, Eudro, happy birthday to you. Hey, Eudro. I think I'm saying that right. Eudro. Hey, Eudro. Chappelle here. I have a birthday message to you from Crabbit, your sister. So you're a ginger. I'm almost a ginger right now myself too. So anyway, happy birthday to you. You're in interests are flying planes, whiskey tasting, and anything related to computers and IT. Oh, gosh, I need you in my life. By the way, your dad likes Crabbit better than you, so take that as you will. And you like Hawaiian farmers and reverse parking. Hard to believe, but there you go. And you think I'm hot, me, Schapelle. Oh, yeah, right. I'm still single. I don't know, if you see me out in public, would you come and talk to me? Or would you be one of these people that go, hey, I saw you out today. Yeah, well, Chappelle's human too. You can come talk to me. Okay, if you see me out, you drove, come talk to me. And happy birthday to you. I hope you have a great day. Surrounded by all the people that love you, even your dad. And don't drink too much. Most importantly, you, Drew, have a great life. So, happy birthday to you. All the best.
Oh, God,
Okay,
it's fucking gold.
so
Reverse
it's gold.
parking.
It's the reverse parking. I mean, hats off to Claire for providing primo content for that.
Unbelievable.
But what Chappelle did with it brings me life.
Just that she just read it off the piece.
Yeah, read it off the piece of paper. You go and look at her, like you can look her up on Cameo, and all of her birthday messages are identical.
Yeah, they're all. Yeah, I
They're
found
all
one online
Happy
myself.
birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Like it's
Happy birthday to
the same.
you.
Always starts the same. Yeah, happy birthday to you. Now,
Oh, God.
that cost Claire $52.
Oh, wow.
Of which $40 is paid directly to Chappelle. They get paid as soon as they've sent the video off. Claire reckons it took 40 minutes for her to... Claire submitted the thing 40 minutes later. She had that video.
Oh, that's incredible. Well, she needed the dough, like a fair co. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that's gold. Sorry, but nothing was a lie, what Claire put in there.
Oh, God,
But
no.
I love the, reel off of, you're into...
Into what you're into.
computers.
And you think I'm hot.
I think I'm hot. I can just
love
see her going, maybe.
It just gives me life. It's so funny. It's so good. Claire, you could not have chosen a better gift for your brother.
It's really gold.
Yeah.
I love that. And well done, Chappelle.
Yeah. Oh, Chappelle nailed it.
Oh,
I
man.
just love
Is she
it.
still on Cameo?
Oh, yeah, she is. I
still
checked
there?
yesterday.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah.
We could get her to promote 2 Crime Besties.
Oh.
That'd be worth $50.
I think we almost said that maybe she's guilty in this, so maybe
fair.
she won't. Oops, sorry. I mean, you've
But
done
we
the
don't.
time.
We did also say we don't really know. Like,
No.
we don't think that it's all her or anything
100%. If that court hearing was in Australia, there was enough reasonable doubt.
She would not
she wouldn't have gone.
prison.
Wouldn't have gone to
No
prison.
way.
No.
No way.
And if she did happen to get guilty, it would have been far less.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes.
All right. Well, on that little note, this episode has just gone on way too
Oh, it really
long.
has.
Yeah.
I just realised. Far out.
All right.
Stay curious, crime besties.
Bye.